another edition of Strength Through Stress, brought to you by Stop Virtual Staffing Solutions, where we all grow, learn, and innovate. And I know we were doing this weekly, but we took a summer break, and we're ready to get back in the thick of things here. Is that correct, Miko?
Yes.
All right. So from now on, we're doing it on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and then our Life and Learner Success 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and contact us at 866-TVS-SVA1, or that's 866-887-7821. So we're in session 18. We will review what we did in our last session. And for today's session, we are going to do Borysenko's and Chopra's theory regarding what is spirituality. And we have a different set of journaling, willpower, and growth mindset. And we always want to apply what was discussed on session 6 regarding Psychology of Stress Part 3, where we discuss critical and scientific thinking, metacognition, and higher order thinking. All right, so that's session 6 right there. So some disclaimer, again, whatever we're sharing here are just for informational purposes only. All right, and if anything else is of an emergency, feel free to contact 911. So ground rules, just pretty much anything that you can think of, general things of respect and confidentiality. So why free? We want you guys to donate to worthwhile causes instead. So for this session, we want to highlight Special Olympics for that matter. All right, and also for why free, but if you want to contribute to all of the nonprofit organizations and support our initiative for a little bit, so feel free to go to our GoFundMe page there. Okay, and we also want to share, we have free virtual town hall sessions. So this is the one with AAA physical therapy and a medicist, where we discuss prevention and continued healthcare. And we just want to share with AAA physical therapy, we have moved into 2 new locations, so feel free to check their website out. Okay. Do you have any questions for today's session, Miko? None? All right. Okay, so review. We discussed stress and spirituality and what their roles are, and we wrapped up collective unconscious and spiritual growth. So, in terms of symbols and archetypes, which is rather universal, and dreams, this is what we discussed last time. So how do you think dreams or archetypes impact you and your spirituality? Do you remember this from last month or about a month and a half ago?
No.
No? Okay. All right. We'll need to go ahead and review them. So just, and that's why we're reviewing, okay? So what it is that, for example, the importance of dreams is to tap the unconscious. And I know you have been sharing some of the dreams that you have, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what it is that there is this collective unconscious wherein we get our energy and our understanding of what life is. And I do ask you, is there anything there that you share with me regarding your dreams, and we interpret them? So there are different ways of interpreting them, okay? All right, so that's the power of the unconscious right there. Do you remember what the unconscious is?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that's what it is, okay? In terms of the power of dreams. All right, the next one is willpower. So relax to restore the willpower. Sometimes if we are dreaded with so many things, we just need to go ahead and calm down. And one way to calm down is to what?
Meditate and sleep.
Meditate and sleep, all right? And the importance of meditation and sleeping, we go ahead and have deep breathing.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. All right. So the blood pressure drops, emotional tension released. And then when we sleep, when we have that deep sleep, that's where the dreams go ahead and come into play. Okay? And then, so I know you have been meditating, right?
Yeah.
So what can you say when you go ahead and meditate?
It's, I don't know how. I just, every time I meditate, and it doesn't matter how long, after I meditate, I feel at least a little bit more energy.
You feel energized.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And whether it's anecdotal or not, if it's beneficial or helpful, why not, correct?
Yeah.
So that's how powerful it is. So hopefully you continue with that, okay? To be able to practice that. And then the growth mindset, that we own failures, that we're not blaming and cheating our way through it, correct?
Yes.
Because if we own our failures, then we need to find ways on how we get better there, how we improve.
Besides blaming and cheating.
Yes, because if we're just blaming, then we're not going to get any better, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so critical thinking, this is what we discussed in that session. Is there, well, I know you didn't get the chance to review what we did last time.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe we'll just skip through this, but next week, we'll go ahead and make sure that we go through this again, okay? Cool? We're good? Good? Can you hear me? Are you good? All right. Are you good? You're connected now?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
It happens sometimes.
The what? I'm sorry?
It's weird that it happens. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay, that's
Well, what I want to analyze how can't get it.
analyze. Go ahead. Take your time. Because we discussed spirituality and the role of religion on students, right? Okay, is it the religion?
I want to analyze how meditation works so well with me.
Okay.
But that's for something for later times.
I think we can discuss that a little bit right now. And it's a good review from some of the things we have discussed before. The bottom line is that our body is dependent on really basic things such as water, nourishment, and oxygen, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So the importance of breathing in slowly and deeply is that we are giving our mind, like what you said, rest and energy. And if we're able to go ahead and focus with what we need to focus on, which is ourselves, and it's a little bit related to what we will be discussing a little bit later, is that we feel more centered and that we get to just focus on ourselves, not in a self-centered way, but in a self-caring way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and there are so many studies, scientific studies, and then at the same time from the Eastern world of giving importance to meditation. And it's such a critical component to help us. And we are discussing it with willpower, And that's actually one of the main sections of it. That we're able to gain our willpower through deep breathing and through meditation. So there. And hopefully this again is a practice that you can continue to do and be a big part of your life with everything that you're doing. Okay? Good?
Yes.
All right, lovely. I'm glad. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. Okay, ready to move on?
Yes.
You have anything else that you want to ask before we proceed?
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
So we have discussed Borysenko from before, and we're reviewing it a little bit more. So that is the importance of psychoneuroimmunology, the spirituality of the mind and body connection. Do you remember that? Do you remember
I'm
that?
trying to remember if I said psychoneuroimmunology before.
Psychoneuroimmunology?
Yeah, I think I remember saying that. So probably I remember.
Okay.
It's just not really ringing a bell right now.
Well, let's break it down. So we hope it rings a bell. So let's break it down. So psycho is the mind, right? Am I correct? What we think. And then the neuro is the brain matter, the gray matter itself, the one in our brain itself. Correct?
Neurons.
Neurons, exactly. And what's the root word of immunology?
Immune.
Immune. So how our health, go ahead.
Brain neuron. We're immune to brain neurons?
What's the picture?
It looks like he's... Oh, well, he or she. The person in the picture looks like he's deflecting some kind of electric thing.
Or virus?
Or virus, yes.
I mean, obviously virus is not that big, but we need to illustrate it.
Yeah.
Do we need to be immune with our brain, or do we need to be immune with other things, with not so good things?
Immune with not so good things.
Okay, so the thought process of thinking that we need to be immune with our brain, it doesn't make sense.
No.
Okay, all right. So it's what we think, all right, and then how our gray matter, which are the neurons, that we strengthen that interaction, and how we strengthen our immune system. And again, that's where the mind and the body is connected, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Borysenko identified how important it is to have that level of spirituality. And I'm not here to tell you what faith is better than the other. You find the faith that works best for you, correct?
You.
Yes, you. So, going back to this, and that's what we are discussing here, spirituality in relation to stress, and how we gain our strength from it. Okay? And you're doing your notes again?
Yep.
All right, lovely. So this is, yes, this is Borysenko's theory right here. Ready to proceed?
Yes.
Okay. So with one of the things that Borysenko identified is spiritual optimism. That we've identified that love is such a powerful force to make things happen. And that's why they go ahead and identify that you love what you do. You identify what is it that you love doing. And if you love what you're doing, then you gain the strength to be really good and successful with whatever it is that you're doing. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
So that's what spiritual optimism is. That's what Borysenko identified in relation to spirituality, in relation to working with stress. That even with certain things that we may not necessarily like doing, but we hopefully go ahead and identify that we love doing whatever it is that we are doing. All right. And then the opposite of optimism is pessimism. Is that we have these tendencies to have low self-esteem or carry on guilt all the time and other less ideal behaviors. And that's what we continue to do. And with that, is that helpful then? Is it beneficial to live like this, Miko?
No.
Okay. So, but that's what it is. There's that opposite side of the spectrum. And hopefully, again, we just go back that we love what we're doing in relation to spirituality. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because if we are stuck, go ahead.
Of course, we all are probably going to be on this page at least once in a while.
The what? I'm sorry?
We are all going to be on this page once in a while.
Oh, yes, of course. That's what makes us human being. And that's
Exactly.
That's the beautiful part of being a human being. Because if everything is always good and fine and dandy, we will take it for granted. So if we are stuck in this situation, we need to go back to the basics of just like what you said, meditating, eating healthy, getting enough rest. But at the same time, that we are aware that we can't get into this perpetual world of spiritual pessimism. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. There's nothing wrong if we get into this. But the important thing is to acknowledge that, okay, I am in this world right now, but I know I need to find ways to get out of this. Because it's not helpful at the end of the day.
Yeah, life is not easy.
Life isn't easy, but that's why we're learning the necessary skills to make it easier for us. Right?
Yeah.
That's why we're learning this, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, life has its own challenges, but we just go back to this, that we need to continue to love whatever it is that we're doing. And hopefully it will yield the results that we're aiming for, that we're gunning for. Cool?
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. All right, next one is Chopra, in terms of the theorists that we have regarding spirituality and working with strength through stress. So Chopra identified the relation of spirituality, quantum physics, and medicine. And the reason why I chose this picture is because X-rays, for the most part, are used in the medical field. If we're talking about physics, the physics of moving joints. But if we're talking about quantum here, then obviously that's a whole different field. But that's what it is in terms of movement. And spirituality is that the essence of what we are doing. And when we go down to our bones, that's the essence of things. So that's the reason why I chose this picture. To go ahead and signify all of these three aspects of what Chopra has shared. Ready to proceed?
Yes.
Okay. So, Chopra identified multiple laws here. One of which is law of pure potentiality. And if we're talking about potentiality, what's the root word there?
Potential.
Potential. We look for our potential. That's what we're aiming for. And we harness that. We try to get better with it. And we look on the inside in order to gain that full potential. Not coming from the outside. Make sense? Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you go back to what
Inside is the only place that you're really going to know yourself. It's hard to know yourself if you do something that's not really within your habits.
or control.
Yeah, control.
And we go back to your question. We go back to your question in terms of what you want to analyze. Right?
Yeah.
And your analysis of in terms of meditation. And with meditation, remember, with whatever your thoughts are, you just focus on your breathing. And your breathing is as inside as it can get.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you have other thoughts coming through your head, you just let them pass through because you're focusing on yourself.
Through one ear and out the other.
Yes. And so in terms of law of pure potentiality, is that we focus on our own strength, of our internal strength. And that's what it is. And again, and here we are, we're tying it up to your question of why meditation seems to work wonderfully.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one for Chopra. Oh, another thing regarding law of pure potentiality is that we are co-creators of our world. Sure, there are certain realities that we cannot control, right?
Yep, obviously.
But at the same time, we can't just, okay, we're not puppets. We don't have strings attached to us. Here we are doing this session because we are trying to create and provide something positive, something good. So regarding, and in addition to what we have discussed in the previous slide, the law of pure potentiality is that we create our realities. That's part of it. That's part of the game plan. And the reason why I'm using this picture is that this gentleman right here created his reality to be able to lift as such. It just didn't happen out of nowhere.
Of course not.
Okay? All right. Ready to continue?
Yes.
Next one is law of giving. We live life with an open heart, wherein we are able to give and receive freely. Now we don't have hesitations of giving what we can. It's not always about giving of money, but giving in terms of our actions, giving in terms of our praises, giving of all the positive energies that we can provide. And then at the same time, if somebody is giving that back to us, then we openly receive it freely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So of course, there are certain things wherein we are limited with certain things. I mean, at the end of the day, we have 24 hours a day. But if we are giving, for example, the reason why we're doing this is that we are giving that hopefully somebody could benefit from this. And hopefully they accept it freely. And of course, there are certain needs that we have that hopefully we openly receive it if somebody is giving it to us. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Chopra, the law of karma. We read
Karma.
so. Yes.
I hear it a lot, but I have no idea what it is.
Based on this phrase right here, what can you deduce in terms of what it means? What do you think karma means?
Agriculture? Something to do with agriculture?
Okay. Let's focus on that in terms of agriculture.
Oh!
Go on.
We finish what we have done?
Okay. But let's go back to agriculture. That's the literal meaning of this. So you planted some stuff in the garden, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you plant?
And that we got out and ate?
Yeah.
Potatoes, basil, mint, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries.
Okay. And did you plant them properly or whatever?
Actually, I'm not sure if we put it in the right place, but I think so.
Okay. Yeah, that we dug a hole. We worked on it. And do you water them when you need to?
Yes, but it seems like it's not going to have to be watered anytime soon right now.
Yes.
Just rained.
Just rained rather strong right now. So, from an agriculture point of view, if you planted blackberries and you planted it properly and you were watering them accordingly, then, and once it produces a fruit, what do you get?
A result?
And what's the result?
A blackberry.
A blackberry.
And it's black, and it's ripe, and it's good.
Yes. So you worked on it in order to produce a blackberry.
Of course, yeah.
So
then next year we might get some more. The next year, so on and so on, so forth. So.
yeah. So that's a law of karma. So what do you think it means outside of agriculture?
That we reproduce?
To produce something, what do we need to do first?
Nurture it.
Nurture it. And by nurturing, we work on it, correct?
Yeah.
So the results happen based on the work that we do, based on the effort that we provide. Right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's the law of karma. That if we do good things, then we get it back. But if we do the opposite, then you receive the not so good things.
Or just you don't receive anything.
Or you don't receive anything, yes. So the law of karma from a spiritual point of view, that's why we go ahead and do positive things as much as possible. And hopefully us doing this will yield positive results for us. But at the same time, us learning through this, hopefully in one shape or form, has helping both of us, at least.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So from Chopra's point of view, the law of karma, that's what it is. From a spiritual perspective, that whatever we send out, that's what we go ahead and get back.
Oh, I think my school has a saying about that.
What do you remember?
I think it's treat others the way you want to be treated.
Precisely. How is it that people will like you if you don't?
Yeah.
Respect them and take care of them, right? So you knowing it, now it's a matter of us doing it daily. So we build that habit and it becomes our character, which is related to what we discussed before. Right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. So you hear karma, the word karma all the time. Do you have a better understanding of that now?
Yeah.
All right, lovely. Okay, let's move on. The law of least effort. I know we discussed earlier that we put in the effort that we need in order to yield the results that we have. And then here we're talking about least effort. Now,
Like, what?
it can be confusing, right?
Exactly.
All right. But that the focus here, though, is that we cannot control.
We just do. We
We
just
go ahead.
kind of follow in their tracks and see if we can. Well, if we're talking about a virus, follow in their tracks, then stop it once we know more about it, of course.
Okay. I'll talk a little bit about the virus later. But think about this. You have control on how the stream flows or a river flows. You have
No.
control over that.
No.
I mean, sure, we can build a dam and see how we can divert it and stuff like that, right? Sure.
Yeah, but that's more than least effort.
Yeah. But generally speaking, we can't control how a river and stream flows.
Generally speaking, yeah.
So on that note, if it's going to be least effort, is it easier to swim upstream or downstream?
Downstream.
Exactly. And
Well, it depends how deep the water is.
What do you mean?
Because obviously you can't swim in a stream that's smaller than you.
Oh, gotcha. I understand. Yeah, of course, if it's like half feet, half a foot.
But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, I get your point. Yes. And that's what it is. And we go back to this in terms of virus. Can we control COVID-19?
No.
No, I mean, it's out there, obviously. But can we control our actions and behaviors so we learn how to... Yes.
Prevent more of the spread.
Precisely. And that's what we can do. And that's the least effort that we can have, that we can go ahead and do. And think about this. If we stay at home, we only go out for really essential stuff. Well, that's the least right there.
It's just... surviving.
Yeah. And we work with it.
We're just getting our needs, not the wants.
Yes. And that's what it is for now. Until we learn on how to work with this in terms of... You were saying certain things earlier. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't interrupt you. But what else were you saying about the virus?
That we were just... About what virus?
Yeah, you were talking about it earlier before I said and I went into the river analogy.
Oh, it's just that we can't control the way COVID-19 is or COVID-19 spreads. So we have to learn more about it. But that also puts us in the risk. Because if we keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and this coronavirus is not spreading new information, how are we going to make a antidote?
So we need to study it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's also a downside of that, so.
What do you mean by downside?
We still have to, well, it's obviously not least effort, but we still cannot get we obviously can't. We can't get coronavirus under our control, so we can learn more about it, and then we can possibly stop it, so.
Let's this is good. This is a good discussion because this is something that's current thing that's going on. In essence, we can control how the virus spreads. When we go outside, we wear masks, we wear face shields or covering in the eyes, and we always wash our hands. That's how we control the spread of it, right?
Technically, yeah.
Yes, okay. So that's what we can control. But can we go ahead and control, hey, virus, don't come over here, or virus, don't come into my system? Can that is that something that we can say, hey, COVID-19, stay away from me?
No, because if we could, we'd just say that.
Yeah, exactly. So if we are exposed to high COVID-19 realities, then we are exposed to it. But that's why we are doing what we need to do of least effort of, again, avoiding crowded situations. And again, only going out for really absolute necessary things.
Really absolute, necessary, extremely
That's extremely
important things.
all of this Shift F7 that you can think of.
I know. Supreme.
Yes. And that's it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what Chopra has identified. So again, going back, we are co-creators. We did not create this virus, but this virus is our reality now. Then it's beyond our control. We study what we can and study what we can control. Because wearing a mask, that's something we can control. Us leaving and just partying with a lot of people without masks, I don't know how good that would be, right?
Depends what type of party it is. If it's a Zoom party.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course, but not in this regard, correct?
Yeah.
All right, lovely. Let's move on.
Not a Zoom party. Yeah.
Okay. So law of least effort is that we live in harmony with nature. And if you guys have seen some of our Facebook posts regarding the plastic challenge, is that plastic is not part of nature. And if we just throw around plastic, it's actually going back to us because other animals eat it and other animals eat it, and whatever we consume, we end up somewhat
Having that as well.
eating a derivative of a plastic. So
yeah. That's probably worse.
Exactly. So if we want to live in harmony with nature, we have to take care of it. Because we reap what we sow in going back to
the karma,
karma of agriculture.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, karma is a really good K word.
For Scrabble?
Yeah.
You got that correct. So, going back to this, yes, that's what we need to focus on. And that's why we're doing that as well in terms of TVSS, that let's be mindful that we don't just throw plastic all around. And we have all of these challenges in social media. I think this is as healthy of a challenge as you can get of taking care of the environment.
And taking care of ourselves.
And at the end, we are taking care of ourselves and our loved ones.
Yeah.
All right, next. Law of intention and desire. That we set small goals and hopefully it will continue to yield to the big goals. But of course, in life, in reality, this doesn't happen all the time. But in order to live with the results, we have to let go of our ego. We have to let go of our self-centeredness. We have to let go of just our selfish desires.
Our own desires.
Yes.
Not really anybody else's, or if someone doesn't want it, but you really want it.
That we have to somewhat let go of that. But that's what it is. We set our intention. So our intention here is to go ahead and help other people. That's why we're doing this Strength Through Stress. And with this goal, and however the big goal of how TVSS can go ahead and help others, whether it's through tutoring, virtual companionship, or whatever, then that's where we go ahead and come in. But overall, this is the reason why we're doing this. That hopefully could help somebody else on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, let's move on.
Yes.
Okay. Next one, law of detachment. What happens when you go ahead and work so hard for something and you don't get what you want? What happens here?
I get super annoyed.
Okay.
I just can't focus. I can't even meditate, actually.
And hopefully that's something that you can work on then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like something I'm trying to work on right now.
And that's what it is, actually, with one of the leadership seminars or conversations that I'm having with others, is that the results are what they are, and that's it. If we start attaching emotions into it, then that's where we go back to the previous slide, wherein there's guilt, low self-esteem, and so on and so forth. And that's not really good for us, right?
No, wait.
So if we can, let the results be what they are, and we focus on just continuing to get better. But if we start attaching emotions, especially negative ones, then it's not going to do us any good. And sometimes the results are not
As good as you want.
as you want it to be, because sometimes we just need to be directed somewhere else.
Yeah. Sure.
And that's what it is in terms of law of detachment. So sure, we still try to work on goals. Sure, we are co-creators of what we want to do and achieve. However, if we don't get what we're looking for, we need to detach ourselves, just focus on the results and how we can continue to get better.
Well, what if you didn't let emotions in? It's just the result is bad, or not how you wanted it.
I'm sorry, what's your question?
What if you didn't let emotions in, but it's still not how you wanted it?
If it's not the emotions,
It's not how you wanted it.
yeah, so
What if that happens?
that's exactly what you need to do.
Oh.
It makes us human to go ahead and feel upset or annoyed, right?
Yeah.
Or even angry. But this is exactly what it's saying from a spiritual point of view on how we should work with the stressors. And for the most part, and I know we have discussed this in the previous sessions, that stressors are based on us not getting whatever it is that we're desiring. That there's that mismatch of realities. Then sometimes we just need to calibrate whatever our expectations are. Or if we're not getting the results that we're looking for, let's identify how we can change our approach to things. Because if we all of a sudden start feeling angry, unhappy, upset, then now we go back to that feeling guilt and bad reality.
Yeah, sorry. Lost battery.
All right.
Lost the battery.
So if we go back to this, the results are you did not come in prepared, correct? Or what happened was you did not come in prepared for this session because you didn't get your charger.
Yeah.
Then you can have all of these negative emotions about that, but it's not really going to do us any good. What we need to focus is that this doesn't happen again. What do you need to do?
Make sure I come prepared next time.
And how do you do that? What specific action that you need to do?
Think of what I need for the session.
And what is that specific need?
Charger.
This is a perfect example of that. And then on my end, I can go ahead and be upset about this as well. Because I know I've already identified it. Make sure you bring everything that you need, including the charger.
Yeah.
I can be upset about this. Is Miko listening to me? Is Miko paying attention? So you tell me, what should I have done in order to be successful to remind you?
Maybe you could have woke me up earlier.
Okay, because I know you took a nap. All right. What else?
Maybe
If it's about me waking you up earlier, is that on me or should it be on you?
it's on me.
Okay.
Because I was the one who didn't wake up. So.
Yeah. So in order to get the results that you want next time, that we're not going to pause and I'm not going to be delayed, and then we can just have a good flow here, then you take care of what you need to take care of, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And that's it. I mean, sure, we can go back to us being upset and being angry and everything else, but we just focus on the results and that's it. And hopefully we'll go ahead and learn so this doesn't happen again and again and again and again. Because we're human beings, because if it happens again and again and again, then obviously people have limits too. So let's move on. Meaning of life. We've seen this picture from before. That's what it is, of law of Dharma or life purpose. And we have a unique gift and talent that we share for everyone. I'm not so sure about my own gift or talent. That's why
I know it.
That's why we're doing this.
I know what it is.
Okay.
I know your unique gift or talent.
What is my unique gift and talent? What is that?
Puns.
Huh?
Puns.
Puns? Doing puns?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I'm not so sure if that's a good thing to be shared to everyone. I'm not so sure if everybody would be happy about it. But I just want to go back to this. Again, I'm not so sure if this is a gift of mine or talent of mine, doing these sessions. But anyway, I received training and education in this. And
Well,
going back to love.
probably your dedication.
Yeah, and that's what it is sharing, is that in terms of love, is that I love self-improvement. I love continuously getting better. And that's why I'm sharing this with you, Miko. So thank you for accepting this. Because that's part of giving, is being able to receive it. So yes, thank you about the dedication. Anything else you want to say?
Let me think. Maybe on coaching in general, just tutoring in general.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we're trying to go ahead and share to everybody else, especially right now. The majority of the schools are online, and parents and caregivers need that help or assistance, and hopefully we can go ahead and help out here. Thank you for that. And that's why we're doing these sessions again. This is part of coaching, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's move on to journal. I know we've already discussed this in that session, so let's move on to journal 20. The power of wishes. And again, without the negative emotions. Why do you think it is important to have that wish? Why is it good to have a wish?
So you have a goal that you want to accomplish, and then you can work towards that goal.
Precisely. And then
And you still learn along the way.
Yes, lovely. And then if we don't get that wish, should we be feeling down on ourselves and all of these negative emotions?
Not necessarily.
I mean, that's part of life, no doubt. But that's the technique of learning, of not being sorry for ourselves and just go ahead and move on. Right?
Yeah.
And go ahead and do better or find other goals if you may. Okay? All right, so that's that journal. Next is willpower. Here we are, we're continuously talking about stress and self-control. If you worry all the time, or if you feel like you're overworked, does your self-control, controlling yourself, go up or go down?
What?
If you feel overworked, if you're worrying all the time, the way you control yourself, does it increase or does it decrease?
It decreases.
It decreases. So for example, it seems like you have this tendency of worrying about the weather.
Yeah.
And how you control yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So we wish everybody that's in the path of the current storm or hurricane that has passed through, mostly in Louisiana and everywhere in the pathway. Our thoughts are with you. But if we're just going to be worrying and worrying and worrying about it,
it's not like we can stop it.
You can't. So, and then at the same time, what can we do? If you're a denier of climate change, all of these category 5s and all of these forest fires are happening for a reason.
Actually, it's kind of our fault that we have all those hurricanes.
Yes, we have our hand on it.
Global warming is us. And the global warming is melting the Antarctica. And the water, the ice water that's coming from Antarctica goes to the Atlantic Ocean. And that's where the hurricane brews up. And then it's kind of a cold water and hot air, something like that, mix. So that makes the hurricane.
That I'm not sure of. But the bottom line is that global warming does, yes, have an impact on it. And that's why whatever we can reduce in terms of carbon emissions and our carbon footprint, whatever we can reduce, let's go and do that. But us worrying about it all the time, is it going to help us?
No.
So we focus
unless you're worrying about it and thinking of a way to stop.
To work on it. It's more of that.
Yeah.
But should we be overworked about this? For example, earlier when we were walking to the lake to go ahead and eat lunch, and obviously in our pathway there's a whole bunch of plastics. And we gave ourselves, you know what, we're not going to pick the plastic right now because we're going to eat. And I didn't sanitize
and we already sanitized and all that.
Exactly, yeah. So, me being overworked about it when there are billions and billions of plastic out there, no. But whatever we can do, why not? Right? Okay. How about hunger? If we're super hungry, does that impact our self-control?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So we need to go ahead and make sure that we eat properly. How about physical pain or illness? Do you think that will impact our self-control?
Yes.
Yes, no doubt. How about all of these other emotions or perspectives of anger, loneliness, and sadness? And that's why, as I've shared earlier, we can provide virtual companionship, just in case if you're lonely in these times, especially in COVID-19 reality. Okay, growth mindset. Depression and defined failure. Do you think our failures define who we are as human beings?
No.
No.
Not really.
Yes.
Depends what type of failure.
What do you mean by that?
If you have, let's say, a driving failure or something like that, you fail the driving test.
Okay. Is that going to define who Miko is?
I didn't say I did that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just asking you if... No. Okay, so...
But if it's a failure, like... failure to connect with other people, it's...
Should that define who we are?
It's hard to explain.
Well, hopefully for the most part, that's why we have this from a growth mindset point of view, is because we will fail more than we will succeed, right?
Yeah.
There are more failures, there are more losses in life, right?
Of course.
But if we go ahead and say, okay, I'm not going to do anything else anymore, and we're not going to be proactive on things, then that's not going to be productive. So if we have these failures and losses define who we are, is that good or not good?
Not good,
Not good.
actually.
So we need to find ways on how to work with these. And that's why we were talking about earlier, try to reduce the negative emotions from such realities and learn how to work with it. And that's the growth mindset of this. All right, so again, we're doing this 5 p.m. Eastern Time and Life and Learner Success in the next hour or so here. And then Workout Buddy is moved on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, so it's on our Facebook channel. All right, thank you. Do you have any questions for today's session?
No.
No? All right. So, is it playing? All right, thank you. And we'll see you next time. And feel free to go ahead and reach out to us. All right, and again, these are the references for our subject matter today, and we'll see you then.
Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video informational and educational. Please share our videos and subscribe to our channel. If not, my dad will not give me dessert.